Hello, welcome to the PowerFish podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Fish. And today, we're going to kill people. Or maybe not. I don't know. We're going to run through some trolley problem scenarios. And we are going to run through a bunch of them in, I assume, increasing absurdity.
Right. There's a spectrum. There's a spectrum of trolley problems. Obviously, the original one is a train is heading towards 5 people, and you can pull a lever to divert the track onto one person, so it kills 1 instead of 5 with your intervention. Do you pull the lever? Yes, no. And from that, there are a truly unlimited number of trolley problem moral dilemmas to diverge from that. But we're starting at square one. So we're in this scenario. Train heading towards 5 people tied to a track. It's going to kill them. There's a switch right in front of you. You see what's happening. If you pull the switch, it diverts the train onto another track that kills 1 person. Do you pull the lever? So I'm just going to start with, I say, yes, you pull the lever. And I think that is probably the majority consensus reason. But let me open with why some people think that they wouldn't or shouldn't do that. Is because if you pull this lever, what you are doing is you are asserting yourself into this situation when you otherwise would not be. You are establishing yourself as a part of what is happening here by pulling the lever. And if you don't do anything, you're just letting the universe, take its course. Right. You're letting what happen. You're not involved, has nothing to do with anything. And I think that take is absolute nonsense.
Okay.
I think that is the most common take that I hear of not pulling the lever. And I think it is such nonsense. If you are in a situation and you see what's happening and you know an action you can take to alter this situation, you're in the situation. Just because you do something or don't do something changes you being in the situation or not. It doesn't. You're in the situation when you establish what is happening into your consciousness. I
think your main point I think you're making is inaction is an action.
Yes.
Not taking action is also
deciding to not do anything is an action. That is still deciding to allow 5 people to die instead of 1.
Interesting.
Which, here's another thing. If you pull the lever to kill 1, as opposed to not pull the lever to let 5 die, what will happen is what I just said. You kill 1, as opposed to letting 5 die and you don't kill anyone. From that stance, I can understand this a little bit more. You don't want to kill someone. But if you're in a situation and there's a bomb that's going to blow up in 5 seconds underneath someone in front of you, and there's a button you can press, and you know what's going to happen. There's a button you can press that stops this bomb from exploding, but you don't press it because you don't want to get yourself involved in the situation, and they die. I'd say, yeah, that their death is your fault. That's on you.
Gotcha.
So
interesting.
To me, these 5 people dying is on you still. Do you just want it to be 5 or do you want it to be 1? And I think it should be 1. I think you should pull the lever.
I think the standard response is the utilitarian response, which is the most good for the most people. And the most good for the most people in this situation is 1 dead instead of 5.
Right. So
and that's, I would say that's the ideology I subscribe to. Now, I mean, in a real life scenario, adrenaline.
I mean, who knows?
That's a whole other situation.
Who knows what we would do if we were actually in this situation? And we don't actually have to fully speculate on that because Vsauce.
I was just going to bring it up.
Yes, we know about this. I'm pretty sure millions and millions of people who watched this know about this. They simulated this in real life with people that did not know what was happening and did not know it was a test. Excuse me. Only 1 of like 10 or 15 people, only 1 pulled the lever. all the rest just froze and did nothing.
Yeah. Which, if we're being entirely honest with ourselves,
we
probably
probably
gonna
would
be doing
too.
that.
We'd probably just freeze. Right. And you know
That's
what?
Scary.
That's what a terrible situation to find yourself in. But if I was in that situation and I understood what was happening and I didn't pull the lever, I would feel more bad than if I did pull the lever.
Yeah.
Because I'd feel like those 5 deaths are still on my hands because I knew what was happening. I could have saved them. In place of 1, I didn't.
Yeah. And I would feel the exact same way. I'm thinking we're pulling this lever.
Yeah, we're pulling the lever. So we're on a little game here that allows us to see how many people pulled a lever versus did not. And according to this, of 2.6 million voters, 73% pulled the lever.
That says 12.6.
Wow. 12. Yeah, I said 2. I didn't even see the one. 12.6 million votes, which is crazy. 73% of them pulled the lever. So
yeah,
I think we're in the majority consensus here. So next situation, a trolley is heading towards 5 people and you pull the lever to divert it to 4 instead of 1. Okay, so this gets hard because if you're taking a utilitarian point of view, the obvious answer is pull the lever. 4 is better than 5. Yeah. But like, if I'm keeping my moral consistency here, I would pull the lever.
I would too, but it doesn't
feel any better.
not that killing the 1 felt good, but it felt like there was a really good reason to insert yourself into that situation.
Yes.
We're closing the gap here. But I agree.
This one's tougher. But like I said, if I'm to be consistent with all my reasoning before, I would still pull the lever in this situation, even though it would potentially be way harder.
Yeah. Killed the 4 and not the 5. I agree.
So pull the lever. Let's see the results on this. So of 12 million, 68%
a little bit of a drop.
It was a 4% drop. A couple more people just couldn't do it. But looks like we're still in the majority here. All right, so next up, a trolley heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to another track, but then your life savings is destroyed. What do you do? Okay, this is obvious. Yeah. Don't pull the lever.
Yeah.
My life savings is currently nothing, so that's easy.
No, you said don't pull the lever. We want to pull the lever to destroy the life savings and not 5 people.
Yes, no misunderstanding here. We pull the lever to destroy our money, not the people. Holy cow, pull the lever. Yep.
This is obvious here. We don't pull the lever. I don't have much money, but hey.
Yeah,
it's all
obvious.
I've got.
I don't have any Yeah, that's not what we're going for here. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, this is just okay. So of 11 million votes, 58% of people pulled the lever. I imagine 42% of the 42% that let those 5 people die are trolling. There's no way.
I would hope so.
There's no way.
Bad. I don't know. People in their greed. Maybe people are being aggressively honest. You never know.
Maybe. All right, we got next. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, sacrificing yourself instead of the 5.
Dang.
Or do we do nothing and we survive?
I'll give you my answer.
Shoot, dude.
There's no way to know what you do in this situation IRL.
Of course
There's
not.
no way. But let's just say, again, I've never even been in this situation, but let's just say, trolley problem aside, some divine being came to me and said, okay, I've picked 5 people. Either you die or they die. What are you going to do? And he gave me like hours and hours to think about it. So there was no heat of the moment aspect to this.
No trolley.
Yeah. I would make the call to and myself instead of 5 people. I've never been in that situation, but I think that I don't know, man. I just think that.
See, here's the thing. I don't think that I could do that unless I got unless I got the 5 people profiled. Maybe if I knew who they were.
Okay.
If the 5 people are Hitler, Stalin, you know.
I mean,
yeah. I would want to know the 5 people. I'm not.
I guess that's true. I mean, yeah.
Trolley problem situation though. I mean, dude. I mean, this sucks, but 5 people are gonna get splat.
Dude, I'll tell you what. In specifically a trolley problem scenario, like trolley's coming, there's no way I'm making that judgment. Yeah, call.
There's no way.
There's no way.
Right.
But by the time, like I said, I think if given the time to really think it out, and maybe I know the people or whatever, I don't know, but I think I would make the call because I know I don't want to live my life with that.
Dude, your entire life would be just overshadowed by.
I mean, you essentially just murdered 5 people.
Yeah,
I mean, that's in essence. I mean, you were kind of forced to in some way, but. I don't know. I think if given the time, I would make the call to pull the lever, but in the moment,
I don't think I could. I don't think I could. Yeah, I don't think I could. I don't think I could choose to kill. I mean,
it's like those stories of like I read a story not too long ago of somebody who was like rock climbing or something, and he got wedged in this place and he got a rock crush his arm, and he couldn't get it out. So he ended up having to cut off his arm to get out. There's a
movie on that.
Like, bruh.
That's a crazy situation.
Like, it's a similar situation in my head of just like, do I have the mental strength to like inflict harm on myself for the greater good?
Right. Not just harm, but end yourself.
In this situation, end yourself. Yeah.
Right.
So what, but... So are we saying do nothing?
I think if you're speaking morally, the morally correct thing here to do is pull the lever and save 5 people, I think. But if we're talking us in this scenario, all of a sudden, limited time to decide, I don't think either one of us pull the lever.
Yeah, limited time, heat of the moment, no way.
Yeah, all right. So we're selecting do nothing. And 11 million people, 62% agree 5 people are getting smoked. So we're in the majority with that one too.
That does not surprise me.
That one's a tough one for sure, though. That one's a tough one. All right, so we've got trolley heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever, divert it to the Mona Lisa.
Easy one for me. Yeah.
I was gonna say the Mona Lisa is literally the most documented painting ever. Sorry, Da Vinci, but like we've got your stuff digitally now. It's fine. So we pull the lever, get rid of the Mona Lisa. That one's easy. 74% people agree with us. Dude, the 26 that disagree have just got to be trolling. They've just got to be trolling. There's no way.
Yeah.
That that they would just allow 5 people to die to save a painting. All right, so trolley's heading towards a rich man. He offers you 500 grand to pull the lever, which would kill someone. What do you do?
Someone else.
Yeah, kill someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
basically...
Go ahead.
Basically, it comes down to don't take action and kill somebody, but you don't get $500,000.
Or do take action and kill somebody and you do get $500,000.
Yeah.
This seems clear to me.
What's your...
clear. I mean, like we just explained, someone's dying either way. It sucks that it has to be the guy that couldn't bribe me enough. You know? But like... I mean... But here's the thing. 500 grand is a life-changing amount of money. What if the
Yeah.
rich man offered you $50? You
But
could say
here's
the
the
same
thing.
thing. Two people, someone's going to die either way, and you get $50 out of it. So, like,
Yeah,
where's
you
that
could.
line?
Dude, I don't know. That one's really tough. I think I'm on your wavelength here and saying that it sucks to say it, but it's just like,
I mean,
how much money can I get out of this situation?
Exactly. That's what a terrible thing to say in a terrible situation. But like, I mean, if you're, again, I am of the belief that if you are in this situation and you know what's going on, even if you do nothing, you are choosing to, that is a choice that you have made to not take action. You're still in this situation, whether you like it or not. Just because you pull a lever doesn't mean you're all of a sudden now inserted into the situation. No. As soon as you are aware of what's going on, you're in the situation. So the way I see it, we're going to be $500 richer and some other dude's going to die instead of a dude that has $500, $500,000. So I say pull the lever.
But just to be clear, we're not happy about the situation.
It's not
a happy $500,000.
No, this is one of the this is blood money. This is blood money. This ain't clean dollars. All right, so we're pulling the lever.
I'm down with that.
Ooh, this one's split. 10 million votes. 55% agree with us. 45 would have let it kill the rich man.
So I think here was one of my first thoughts. One of my first thoughts was maybe the guy deserves to die a little bit if he's willing to pay to have another person killed instead.
But I mean,
that was
dude,
one of my first
if I was in his position, they could have every dollar I own, my computers, my house. They could have all of it if I was in his position.
I know, but I'm thinking maybe that's the mentality that
the 45% are
thinking. I thought that, but then I thought my next thought was, I mean, what else are you gonna do?
But there's also just a lot of people that kind of just hate people if you have money.
Especially, I mean, I think you're gonna do that if you're in his situation and you got money to spare or to give to save your life. Especially considering that you are the non-action track.
Right.
It is you need somebody to actively make a decision for your behalf.
Right. You have to get them out of that freeze state. So yeah. All right, next we've got a trolley heading towards 5 lobsters. You can divert it to a cat. Which do you do?
Bro, we're killing some lobsters and we're eating them.
Exactly. We've gone to a Red Lobster and literally watched these guys in their last moments before they get eaten. So
yeah, dude.
The cat's
I will say one thing about like lobster places. There are a lot of places. I think Red Lobster might be one of them if you ask for it. But you can like go to the tank and pick your lobster out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that. I'm not.
You're not trying to get a bond with the thing you're about to eat.
I'm not gonna be like. They'll be like, hey, this one's name is Fred. You want to eat Fred? I'm like, I'm good, bro. I'm good on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick out Roger. Hey, Roger, about to die. Yeah, no.
But I mean, in this situation, there's no real reason. I guess the level's called Levels of Sentience, so I guess to that extent maybe. But
shoot, if you go down under, maybe someone over there would flip this around. They're eating cats, right? Like,
yeah, them Australians down under.
Yeah.
Those guys are crazy.
But here, I mean, we do nothing. We let the lobsters get smashed. We save the cat and we eat them. Not the cat, the lobsters. All right, 84% agreed with that, and I think that is currently the strongest. All these other moral dilemmas were much more divisive. This is clearly the strongest agreement on our side, which is stupid considering one of the moral dilemmas was your money or 5 people.
That is crazy. I mean, frick, right? Like, at least where we live, you can't just go get kitty cat meat at the grocery store.
No.
But you can get lobster meat.
Yeah.
I mean, them frickers are dying anyway.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Dude, they're getting smoked left, right, and center as we just walk down the street.
I mean,
Yeah.
they had it coming if you ask me.
But yeah, had it coming, trying to pinch us bastards. All right, trolley heading towards 5 people who are sleeping and won't feel pain, and you can divert it to someone who's wide awake.
Similar mentality.
I was gonna say
to the first one.
yeah, right. First one, I guess it's better if you. It's better than the first one if you allow the train to mow over the 5 people. It's better
for them,
but like
outcome's still the same.
Yeah, outcome is identical. So we pull the lever, save the 5,
Easy.
Flat the 1. Wow, this is the most divisive one yet. 49% agree.
What is
with our
okay? So
decision.
what is the thought process there, right? So
What?
they're sleeping and won't feel pain. Is it because like I don't know. I don't know how to read into this to where that needs to be that divisive.
Dude, how could it be such a tremendous difference from the first one?
Yeah, I immediately see this and I go, okay, it's the same thing again.
Right.
Almost identically.
Except, so people are really taking into consideration the amount of pain, which is probably a very extremely brief
Right.
amount of it if you're getting run over by a train.
Yeah. I can't find a way to justify that.
I don't know. That's an odd one, but we're in the minority here by just a whisker. Interestingly enough. All right, next one. Trolley heading towards 5 people who tied themselves to the track. You can divert it to one person who is not there on purpose. What do you do?
Shoot, dude. Shoot.
Here's the thing. The people that are there on their own accord, if you save them and kill the one that's not trying to be there, do you just end up with 6 people dead now because the 5 might just go on and find another way to make it happen?
Right. I'm thinking, listen. Yes, this is, by technicality, just about the same exact situation as the first one and the last one, 1 and 5. But I'm not going to stop anyone from fulfilling their destiny.
I mean, I would try and stop someone from, quote, fulfilling their destiny, but
that was mainly a joke. I think there is something to, I mean, this is a whole other debate and topic otherwise, but I mean, like the conversation of assisted suicide or something like that.
Right.
Like there's a lot of communities in the world. We don't live in one of them, but there are a lot of communities in the world that think that if somebody genuinely feels that they don't want to live, they shouldn't have to.
Right.
Granted, there are a lot of mental issues that play into that if they were of sound mind, they wouldn't feel that way. But
That's like a lot of people in hospice type of situation.
Right.
It's not uncommon for them to just
want
to go out on their own accord. That's not an uncommon thing.
Yeah, that is very common. But when it comes to people who struggle mentally, younger people or whatever, I think there's probably should be a better effort to help them. But if we're talking this situation, though, they're there on their own accord, and you would have to go against their will to kill somebody who doesn't want to be there.
I mean, you could just say this is vastly oversimplifying a extremely not simple situation, but you pull the lever, everybody gets what they want. Or sorry, you don't pull the lever, everybody gets what they want.
I think you're right. I think it's a really shitty situation.
Right.
and you would, at least me, I know in my mind that those people could probably have been helped.
Right.
If they were to have been spared, but that is, it's a lot to ask of the one guy, you know.
Yeah, are you willing to? I mean, if you ask, I mean, recall back to level 3, 4, 5, whatever it was. If it's you and you're asked, would you submit yourself in place of 5 people who want to die?
That point, no way. Honestly, like,
I don't think I would do
and
it.
I think you saying that puts this particular issue into further predicament. It's just like I obviously I'd be dead, but like if I was that guy up there and those people down there wanted to die and the person at the lever is just like, nah, 1 instead of 5, bro, I'd be mad. Like I'd be mad. I'd be like, bro, they were literally wanting me there. Now I'm dead. Yeah, no.
I think we do nothing.
Like we do nothing.
Yeah, which sucks, but wow. Okay,
And most people would do the same.
77% agree. That's interesting. That, man, it's crazy how much just intention just flips this on its head.
Yeah.
That's wild. All right, what do we got next? So, heading towards 5 people. The lever just speeds up the trolley to make it less painful. What do you do?
I'm not doing that. Easy answer for me. No. I'm at that point taking inaction. No.
Why so confident?
Because yes. Well, okay, because at this point, there's no way to save people.
Yeah.
Right?
The 5 are dying no matter what.
But I'm not going to make that call for them that they want to die faster. That's not my place. And I also don't want that on my conscience the rest of my life, knowing that maybe it was less painful, but I inevitably sped up the death of people that maybe didn't want that.
I mean, if you pulled each one aside and asked them, hey, you're going to die. Do you want it to be...
Yeah, time, get them off the track, pull them
Right.
aside, say, hey, what do you think?
Hey, if you're going to die, do you want it to be slower and more painful or quicker and less painful? What do you think the answer is going to be?
Probably quicker and less painful.
Exactly.
I don't think I'm touching that. I don't, at that point, I'm walking away from this situation. I'm just done with it at that point.
I don't know. I feel like
I think at some point, like I know inaction is action. I know all that, but at some point, inaction is its own separate idea, and I would rather be gone from it. You know.
You see, if I was in this situation, I know I wouldn't pull it. I know I wouldn't, but because in the back of my head, it's impossible to know if they are 100% going to get smoked regardless or not.
Right.
I would not pull it and hope, like, I don't know, a freaking rod falls on the track and derails it or something. So I wouldn't pull it. But if I was in a hypothetical of 100% certainty, they are going to 100% certainty, I can push a button that causes 5 people to experience less pain. I'm going to push that button every time.
I don't know. I think this enters into my head. This is where inaction is separate than action. I think there is something to that. Now, if they were on the track saying, "Hey, can make this go by faster," yelling at me from the tracks, maybe. Yeah. But without their input, I don't think I can make that call.
See, I think I would. If even if I didn't know, I would be able to deductively reason that I bet they want to feel less pain and be quicker than more pain and be slower. I could deductively reason that. And if all else equal, if there is a button right in front of me that says less pain, and if I don't press it equals more pain, who would not press that button?
Somebody that doesn't want to make a decision on behalf of other people. of specifically their lives. I don't know. It's like, it doesn't feel good. I'm not saying like there isn't going to be a conscious, a negativity feeling that lasts because of that decision. I'm not saying
no matter if you press the button, if you pull the lever or not, I don't think you're coming out of this with sound mind. Like there's no way you're screwed for life mentally, whether you do anything or not, if you're in this situation. Right. But I mean, me, dude, I think I'd pull it. Obviously, in a real life scenario, I wouldn't, because there is no 100% certainty that they're going to get smoked. But like in a hypothetical, yeah, I would. Absolutely. I think we just disagree with this. I think you putting in action. You're choosing. Let me
bring up an alternate example. That in some for some reason I would choose differently. And this is a graphic example, so content trigger warning, whatever you got. Okay, if somebody's currently getting processed through a meat grinder, right?
Okay,
but it's really slow, like they're chomping them bit by bit, and I had a button in front of me that's just like, because like they're gonna die, like for sure. There's no saving them at this point. If I could just like throw them all the way through all at once, I'd do that. But it's the same situation.
Exactly. So I guess, why is this different?
I don't know why.
I also would press the button in that scenario.
To just get them through it and be done with it.
Yeah, be done with it faster.
I don't know why it's different for me. I truly couldn't tell you. That's just one of those mysteries of life, I guess. I don't know why. That's just a very different graphic example. I don't know if there's like a gross component to it where I'm just like, ugh. Get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm seeing a guy getting pulled through this thing. Ugh, make it happen faster. Ugh, I don't want to see that. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my speculation. I don't know why it's different for me. Maybe I would pull the lever in this situation.
I think if you're staying logically consistent, I think you have to. If you bring up that other example,
I mean,
for the sake of intellectual consistency, those situations I don't think can differ. Know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I guess maybe I would. Something about it feels awful wrong to me. Something about it feels like I am like making a judgment call for others. And I understand that most people would, assuming they couldn't be saved from the situation, most people would make that call, but it just doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is. It doesn't feel right. But it does feel right in the other situation. I don't know.
Well, we're going to end this with pull the lever. We're going to make it faster, less pain, and quicker.
The 72%
agree. 72% agree.
I think that's probably fair. It's just something about that feels wrong to me. Probably the death part.
I was going to say, is there any part of this that is right? Is the real question. All right. A trolley heading towards one guy. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, but then your Amazon package will arrive late. What do you do?
Well,
we pull the lever to save the guy and get our Amazon package late. So I'm not going to show the results yet, but I bet you that there's going to be a substantial amount of people that say do nothing because they're trolling. Let's see the results here. Okay, 77% of the people agree. What was the example that had like 82% agreement? It wasn't a joke one. I know that. And
was it the people that wanted to die? Was it that one?
Yeah, I think so. Which is crazy. Yeah, that. So maybe we shouldn't put too much weight to any of these answers since there's clearly trolls that are playing this here game. All right, next one. Trolley heading towards your best friend. You can pull the lever to divert it to 5 other people. What do you do? Okay. So let's just say we'll just say it's each other. I'm
Sure.
at the lever, you're on the track. You're at the lever, I'm on the track. Shoot. See, this one's hard because it's in the middle of everyone's a stranger. Obviously, I pull the lever, kill the one, and the one is you, and I don't pull the lever, eliminate the 5. This is like in between that.
Yeah. It's like at one point, it's just like, I want to be consistent, and a life isn't just objectively more valuable because it's valuable to me.
Right. Like those 5 people are somebody else's best friend.
Right.
5 of them.
Yeah.
And we're no important than the people that we don't know. Or did I say no more important, or did I say we are more important?
I don't know.
Or no,
Like
whatever I said, what I meant to say, we are no more important than the 5 best friends that we don't know of those 5 people on the track. So like we would be committing a moral atrocity by pulling the lever and killing the 5, I would say. Here's the thing.
What's your answer to this?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. This is hard. If you're on the track, dude, I'm trying to think what's the mental state post? If you eliminate 5 people to save you, that I don't know if that's something I could live with mentally, but if I eliminate you and save 5, I don't know. I don't feel like the mental is coming out. I think it's coming out pretty damaged, no matter which way you cut the pie, really.
Right. I'm going to say this. I think there's a correct answer here.
Really?
I think there's a correct answer. I think the correct answer is you kill the one, regardless of who it is.
I mean,
I
would say yes. The moral atrocity is you eliminating 5 people. That is, I would say morally.
But here's what I'm saying though. Here's where I'm getting at. Is we're talking about the mental impact, right? I think the mental impact, it sucks either way. But I think over time, I think you can justify your actions more. But just based on sheer quantity of death.
By letting the one die?
Yeah. Which I guess in this situation is you. But I don't like that.
I mean, quantitatively, yeah, it's more justifiable. It is more easy to justify in your head, yeah, I would say. By not killing 5 people.
I mean, if you really want to boil it down, is your friendship worth obviously it's not just your friendship, it's the life of your friend also. But like, is that connection worth the death of 5 people?
With their own connections.
With their own connections and homes and lives, yeah. Because if we're in this, if it's not the best friend, right? We're in this situation, not pulling the lever all day long. We're letting the one die to save the 5.
Yeah.
But does it make it more difficult? Yeah. But I think if we're pulling the lever to save the one, I think we're doing it again. That's how I feel. It makes it more difficult, but I think
it sucks. The only difference between this and the first original trolley problem, outside of the roles being reversed, the 5 on the lever that you pull, on the track that you pull, is we now have a personal connection. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
And
now if it was best friend on one track, one guy on the other, yeah, Save the friend.
Yeah. Sorry, someone's going to die either way. I'm going to be less mentally destroyed in that scenario. Yeah. So, but this one, here's the fact that we have a personal connection can't allow us to change our answer based on the first one. Because the first one, the one guy that we pull the lever to eliminate, he has a personal connection too.
Yeah.
And there's the five. Just because it's us and it's personal, cannot be allowed to get in the way of what is the morally correct decision here. So I think in this scenario, you're dead or I'm dead.
Yeah, I think either way. I think that's over time. That's the only way to be able to justify your actions later, because there's no way. Me, if you're on a track and I got to kill 5 people to save you, and I kill 5 people, 20 years down the road, listen, I'm not feeling... 20 years down the road, if I killed you, I'm going to be like, bro, that fucking sucks. Like, I hate that I was in that situation. I hate that I was in that situation.
Yeah.
But you know what? I saved 5 people.
Right.
But 20 years down the road, if I saved you and killed 5, I'm thinking, this bro made me choose between him and 5 people, and I killed 5 people for this one guy.
Yeah,
that's
it's
crazy.
impossible to justify. It's impossible to justify. Because the only way you could justify it is, oh, well, I felt personal connection, and then that just makes you selfish.
Yeah, imagine explaining that to somebody else. Just been like, oh, yeah, well, what'd you do in that situation? Well, yeah, I mean, I saved my friend and killed 5 people because, like, it's my friend. And be like, the fuck?
Exactly, yeah. That is, yeah. Then you're just, not to say that saving your best friend is a selfish act. Not to say that in place of 5 people, but if you do that in 20, 30, 40 years, you're trying to justify it to yourself after all that time, it's the selfish act. It is. It's the selfish move. Because now 5 other people who were their best friends are way worse off.
Yeah.
Than you.
I think if we're being objective here, I think the answer is clear. We do nothing.
Right. We do nothing.
In our situation,
you and I are dead. No way. People are heartless.
I kind of felt like that was coming.
26% agree. 74% would kill the 5 to save their best friend. Like, dude,
they value their own personal connections and wants.
Shoot, I get emotions are. But let's discuss this a little further. We just described the logical, what we think is the morally correct decision. But if we're in this situation and you see 5 strangers, and then me or you, if we're in this situation, maybe we pull the lever.
I don't think I pull the lever, but what I can tell you is that if the tracks were reversed and
you had to pull the lever to get me,
yeah, that I couldn't do. That I straight up couldn't do. I think
so there is real weight to you pulling the lever no matter what. There is weight to that.
Yeah. There is something to that. I'm not saying it's the end all be all of decisions, because I know that inaction is action, but there's something to it.
I agree. I'm not pretending there's nothing to doing that. I think the stance that should be taken is there should be nothing to that, but we're humans, and I mean, yeah. I'm the same way. I 100% would. There's something to pull in that lever. It's not the same. Yes, it's taking an action. Yes, inaction is also an action. But there is just something, there is more weight to diverting the tracks. That is a reality. Even though in a perfect world, I don't think well, there's not a perfect world where any of these situations are happening, but in a perfect world where this situation is for some reason happening, I don't think you should attribute weight to that. You should make whatever is the moral correct decision, regardless of if you're moving your hand or not. But I think I am the same. I think if you're in the track that I have to divert to, I probably wouldn't do it. But if it was reversed, that one, I don't know. I might pull it. I don't know. I don't think it's impossible for me to know that.
Yeah, it'd be a really tough one.
Yeah.
But I think we're right. I think if the tracks are reversed, there's almost no shot that I'd be able to make that call.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, only 26% agreed. That's just crazy. All right, next one. Trolley heading towards 5. You can divert it to the other track, killing only 1. At least that's what you think is happening. You forgot your glasses and you can't see that well. What do you do? Okay. So this is a scenario that you think is happening, but might not be happening.
For all you know,
okay. So
a trolley is heading towards 5 people.
The 5 people on the main track is still the thing. What you can't see is the diversion track. You think it's 1, but you're not sure. I mean, this is a harder one to answer, not because it's morally equivalent, morally divisive in that way. It's just because it's like there's just not enough information here.
So I think for that very reason, that there's not enough information, I think I do nothing.
Yeah, you probably do nothing. There's just
I don't want to act on bad information.
Right. Yeah. I think do nothing is correct here. You need to have the deets. But here's the thing. Easy. You do nothing, kill 5, 1 person survives. You find that out to be the case. And you're like, oh, shoot, I could have saved. But you know what? I think that would suck. But I think if you somehow built a connection with the 1 person that you didn't kill, that would make it be a little better.
I mean, I guess maybe.
Being like, hey,
maybe be buddies after. Go grab a drink after the train accident.
Yeah. But I think you're in this situation. You have bad information. Nothing is the answer here. You don't do.
I mean, even if you found out doing nothing was the worst of the 2 situations, the justification, when it's still going to scar you, but the justification is, bro, I didn't know.
Yeah, you had bad information. Idea. Right, yeah. It's easier. So I think do nothing that's right. 46% agree.
So people think that what people are saying is that you do what you have the prompt was that you think that there's 1 person on the other track. You know there's 5. Or at least you're pretty sure there's 5 and you're pretty sure there's 1. And so these people are saying you got to act on the best information you have. And best information you have is pull the lever. I think that's what people are saying here.
And I don't think that's unreasonable.
I don't think it's unreasonable, but it's not the route I go with thinking.
No, I don't think it is for me either. As far as acting on... I am all for acting on the best information you have at the moment, but when that information is knowingly incomplete, I think you need to proceed with more discretion. I think. Yeah.
And I think in this time,
this being knowingly incomplete information, I think do nothing was right. All right.
I think you don't do it.
Trolley heading towards 1 of your first cousins. You can pull the lever to divert it to 3 of your second cousins instead.
Okay, second cousin. That is, remind me, that is your cousin's niece or nephew? Is that something like that?
It's like your cousin's brother's kid or something, or your cousin's sibling's child or something like that, or it's
the child of your parents' first cousin.
Okay. So our parents' cousin's child.
Kid. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you right now, I don't know any of them.
So one of my cousins, three
of your second cousins or one of your first?
Easy. I think this comes down to the best friend conversation.
Right. I think, sorry, first cousin, but
yes,
there's
three people.
Other people with full lives that I'm not going
to. Yes, sucks to suck.
Yeah.
You suck.
I don't think we need to go over this one all over again, but yeah, do nothing. Sorry, first cousin. Man, this one's also really divisive. 54% agree with that.
I think people really are taking their own personal connections into play.
I think they are. I don't think that should be what you should be doing in this situation. Your own personal connections, yeah, they're personal to you, but other people have the exact same connections and attachments as you to these other people.
Right.
Like you can, and for all I know, if I was in this situation, maybe I would take my own personal.
I think in this situation, like with this example, I think if you, like, let's say you don't know your second cousins, but you see your first cousin and you know your first cousin, let's say, I think just like with the best friend one, who knows?
Who knows at that point? Who knows? Yeah, who knows what you're gonna do? But yeah, knowing if you have all the information at hand, yeah, sorry, first cousin. Can't let your personal, kerfuffles interfere with something like this.
That's a word right there.
All right, Trolly heading towards 5 old people. You can pull the lever to divert it to a baby. 5 old people. So let's go utilitarian on this. This is not my answer, but let's go utilitarian on this. 5 old people, let's say they're all 90. There's maybe a collective 50 or 60 years left total. The baby, there's probably about, 70, 80, 90 years.
Yeah.
So there's more life to be had with the baby, saving the baby. So you would maybe say the elderly people are going. But there's 5 of them. So like
it comes down to life not yet lived. This is a weird sentence to say, so let me take a second to think I'm going to rephrase this. How many lived lives, completed lives, almost, right, are worth one not yet lived life? I mean, shit.
Man, you could call that an unanswerable question. But dude, the amount of factors are just infinity fold. The baby, what if it gets a disease and dies tomorrow, but you just killed 5 old people?
That's a
factor.
You don't know that.
You don't know. You don't know. That's a factor, though.
Well, but for all that, these old people got even more of a likelihood to get a disease and die tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. If we're all right, yeah. Statistics, chances, utilitarianism, emotion, void. The 5 people are going. There's probably more years of life to be lived, more years of more quality life to be lived by saving the baby. But is the fact that there's 5 separate lives being traded for one, even though quantity of quality lived years may be greater, the fact that there's 5 separate lives, does that just amplify it?
I think it's got to.
It has to. Sure, yes. But does it amplify it enough to trade it for the baby? Listen, I'll tell you what I'm thinking here. I think the 5 people are going to go. I think the old people got to go.
I think that's a good way to look at it. Oof, it feels bad.
And that sucks. Yeah, that's horrible. That's terrible. But I think I'm doing nothing and saving the baby.
I think doing nothing and saving the baby is...
All right, before I select here, what do you think the consensus is? I'm betting this one's pretty divisive. I'm betting this one's in the middle.
I think it's divisive. I think old people dying gets the edge, though.
You think more people are choosing what we're choosing?
Yeah.
To do nothing?
I think so.
All right, we're going to do nothing, saving the baby. Wow. Okay, so this actually was not very undecided. 77% agree with us.
I get it.
Yeah, I get it. Which sucks, but we get it. All right. A trolley is barreling towards 5 identical clones of yourself. You can pull the lever to divert it to actually yourself. What do you do?
How are these clones coming about? That's my question.
I don't know. Maybe some like Star Wars pod nonsense.
Did I make them? Did I make them, or are they like coming from alternate multiverses?
Are you saying if you bubbled them up from cosmic goop in a lab, you would probably be more willing to eliminate them instead of yourself?
Yeah, I'm saying that. As opposed to they came from a different timeline and they have connections and families.
I would say this is a lab situation because they're identical clones, including memories, experiences, family, identical in every way. If it's clones that I made, like but you made them with your memories. They are in every sense of the word you.
Oh, are we gonna open a consciousness debate? We do those.
So okay, what makes them different from you? If you could, here's the thing: you could kill yourself once, or you could kill yourself 5 times.
Yeah, but
like if you're in this situation,
we're about to get into another consciousness debate.
If you're in this situation, how would you even know that you're not the clone? You wouldn't, because the clones are made as identical. Their memories and all.
I really did not anticipate getting to another consciousness debate here. So, how do I put this?
Me what?
Not you, the ambiguous you, right?
Yeah.
View the world in a certain way. I think if you make a clone of yourself, and it can be the amalgamation of your memories and whatnot, I think it's a split off at some point. It's not, you're not seeing the world through both perspectives.
Correct.
You are one perspective of the 6 represented here.
Yeah.
5 on the one, the other.
You're all separate entities. You're all separate lumps of biological goop. Right.
So you, even though these are identical clones, I think you are you. So you
think what makes you the you part is the fact that all the lived experience is a reality with you rather than memory alone with them.
I mean, I guess kind of, yeah. That's probably how I would say that.
Even though when we're recalling memories, they're not reality anymore. They're just memories.
What I'm really getting at is that no matter how you cut it, you are at the top end of this track and you're pulling the lever to save yourself. If you save yourself, you continue to live. If you kill yourself, you as an essence, as an identity, or as a being, well, not as a being, you as an idea live on, but it's not like you're going to take control of the body of one of those clones. That's not
you're going to be dead because your biological slop is gone.
Right.
But there's going to be 5 more of you, which is probably a bad thing. But
probably.
I mean,
So, okay, before we move on, when we had our consciousness debate, I brought up this very topic of seeing the view, because I remember saying that several times, and I don't articulate this well because it's a very tricky topic, and it's very hard to understand. But when we talked about this, I said something to the effect of, okay, because you had an example of if two identical versions of yourself are in two separate rooms and they walk into the room and interact with something on the table in the exact same way, is it the same exact person? And I said, no, you can only occupy one space. You are one entity. And you disagreed with that. You said that you are both things because there'd be no way to tell the difference. And I said there is a difference based on the physical space.
Right, but you were coming. I don't entirely agree. I don't think. I barely remember my argument from that. But I don't think I entirely agree with my own side anymore. I know that they're two different biological mammals.
Right.
They're two separate molecules that have separate cells.
Right. If there are two clones and the original, say I'm the original, I guess, whatever, and I die, my life, the way I view the world, my lens to the world is gone.
Yeah.
But my experience and my biology, not my biology, but biology,
your identical copy DNA in every sense of the word.
It would live on, but I would have no further experiences myself. That it would, which is me,
which is you, yeah.
Me wouldn't.
See, so the way I see, I think we're in agreement with this, but the way I see this is, yes, they're different entities, but when we say you, as in fish,
yeah,
you are both. Fish is both. There is nothing that is different about you two, except that you are additional molecules. Even though the molecules are exact copies of each other, you, fish, is both of them. Yes, they're different blobs of DNA.
Right. But only one of us is my lens to the world. For me.
Yeah, and the other one of you is also his own lens to the world, even though he is also you.
But that's the separation, right?
Yeah, you have separate lenses to the world, yes.
Yeah, so that, to go back to our previous conversation, that was my definition of consciousness.
That you have separate lenses into the world?
And how that's the separator. Because I never really got that point across to you before. And I feel like you always misunderstood me. That was because you said if there's two clones, you are the same consciousness. And I always said, no, I'm not. That's the separator.
Well, I think, as I've said before, I don't think consciousness is different from person to person to person to person to person. I think every person has varying levels of.
Right. And I think it comes down to, I think where we've ended up on this is you and I have different definitions of consciousness.
Yeah. I think it's the same from every person to varying levels. I think it's the same.
I do remember.
I think consciousness is your ability to your lens into the world. And if somebody else is you in every sense of the world, they have their own consciousness, which is their own lens into the world, but it's not different. It's not.
I mean, it would be.
It's not different.
It's not. Yours. It's not. The difference is what's occupying it. That's the difference.
Occupying what?
As in, it's not a different thing, but inherently, a clone is a different view. There is a difference there. It's not. I'm not saying this is not a physical thing, but it's not like physically different, or it's not like granted differently, but it is a separate copy of it. If that makes sense.
Yes.
I am one view to the world. It is another view to the world.
Yes, they are their own separate views. An identical copy of you would be separate views of the world, but you're conscious.
Right.
And like I said, I think, and yes, you each have your own consciousness, which is your own ability to think in your head, in your mind, and your own ability to perceive the world and realize your position in space and time in it. That's separate for both of you. But being identical clones, since I don't believe consciousness is different from person to person to person anyway, I don't think all it is your ability to think in your head. And if I think of a spoon right now, I can see a spoon, but you can't dig into me and get that spoon out. That spoon don't exist, but I see it. That's consciousness. Everybody has that ability to do that, and I don't think it's special from one person to the next.
So I think, and we've talked about this before, but just to put a little bow on this conversation. So what I'm talking about with the different views of the world, that's, if we're not calling it consciousness, is that in essence the soul?
Yeah, that's the thing that you think is a thing that I don't think is a thing. I don't think that exists.
I never said that was a thing. I never said a soul was a thing. I don't think. If I did, I retract it.
Well, I think you were arguing consciousness from the side of it sort of being a soul.
I think maybe that. Okay, I would maybe stand by that. Then it's not in a religious sense, but in
it's a unique. Well, it's unique to you.
Yeah, unique to your world perspective.
So if you have a copy of yourself, do you have the same soul?
If we're defining a soul in that way, which I don't really like using that word necessarily, but I guess, yeah. Or well, what was your question? No, not the same soul. Because it would be different views of the world. For all intents and purposes, you're the same entity.
Yeah.
Like on paper, right? But in actuality.
But like the fact that you are two separate blobs of biology, you are assigned separate souls.
I am only in the driver's seat of one body.
Right.
Yeah. I'm only in the driver's seat of one body. Now, in a way, another version of me is in the driver's seat of another body, but it's still, for all intents and purposes, different drivers. Not different as in, like, the decisions we'll make are probably going to be the same. Almost certainly going to be the same.
Oh, yeah. Especially if free will isn't a thing.
Right. Check out that video.
Yeah. They would almost certainly be, in all intents and purposes and actions, the same.
Right. But you can only exist in one space at a time.
Yeah.
Glad we could clear that up all this time later.
So do we even disagree on anything?
I don't, because I know we disagreed at the time.
Yeah, at the time, like I said, I don't really fully know what I was arguing for in that video. I
think here was the hang up. Here's why I stopped to press on this a little bit right now, was because you never really understood, and I probably didn't explain it well, but you never understood what I was talking about when it came to separate views of the world, a separate driver in the driver's seat. And because we talked about, if you take one person's consciousness, and again, we're talking loose terms here. Yeah. Obviously, you think consciousness is one divided thing, and I'm talking maybe about something different. But if you take it and pop it into somebody else, is it the same exact experience? And I said no, because the view to the world has changed.
Which is, you can't see through, just because there's a clone of you doesn't mean you get to see through both biological blobs at the same time. Yeah, I agree.
Right, with that. and to the same extent, if you take not only just a clone, but just if my whatever I'm talking about popped into you, maybe I would tap into your brain and think the way you think, but it's still this essence's view to the world.
You see, I think that now this is where I think this all started. I think because I don't think that means anything. Your consciousness entering me means nothing, because I don't think consciousness is different from person to person. I think.
Well, that's fine. That's fine then. That's fine. Because you think consciousness is the awareness of yourself and the ability to think.
It's simply our ability. Yeah, it has nothing to do with us, our personality and all the stuff that is easily explained with brain stuff. I don't think it has anything to do with any of that. All I think it is simply the ability to do that stuff. The ability to know that I'm a human and not a dog. The ability to think of something and see it, but it not actually be there. All I think it is an ability.
So let's take the idea of a consciousness and crumple it up to a ball and throw it in the trash can. We're talking about something completely different now. So you and I am the pilot of my own actions, and you are the pilot of your own actions.
Yeah.
Separate pilots. If me, in the sense that I view the world, my essence was taken,
which is what
put into you, which is I don't know. This is where this keeps falling back to, a soul, because there's not a lot here. There's consciousness, which I see as simply an ability that everyone has that does not. Sure, and I agree.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
That's all it is, and then everything else about you, your genetics, your experiences, and all that nonsense. Those are the only two things. And when you say my essence, that's a third thing that I don't think exists.
No. Okay, we're okay. The ability to take somebody's whatever out of whatever and transpose it into somebody is all magical nonsense anyway.
So repeat that 5 times fast. Take your whatever out of your whatever and put it into somebody.
But what I'm trying to say is, with the example of the clones, right?
Yeah.
You said clone here, separate but the same, right? But there is a separation there.
Yes, because you're different biological bodies. That is the separation.
Right. So much like there's a separation there and there, it's not a thing I can classify because it's not a thing, much like consciousness isn't like a thing. It's not a thing.
It's abstract.
It's abstract, and so is a soul, which
I don't think that's a thing.
No, well, neither is consciousness to an extent.
Well, I don't think. Okay, yeah, consciousness we know isn't, or as far as we know, it is not a material thing in the same way that math is not.
Yeah,
it's an abstract. But
okay,
that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, because it obviously clearly does. A soul, I don't think exists in the material or abstract.
I feel like it could very easily exist should we assign a traits to it, because it's all in our head anyway. It's all in our. It just exists within whatever we want to classify it as.
We're not okay. No. That's not a thing though, because consciousness is not something we're just making up. It's obviously there, and it's a thing.
I know what it represents. But if I chose something to represent a soul, I could do that.
But that doesn't mean it would exist.
What are you getting at here?
I don't think souls exist.
I don't really think so either.
But you're saying that if we assign something that, in a way, math describes how the world around us works, if we assign something like that, I'm leaving it open, right? So like, thing 1, thing 2, add together math. The ability to think and process yourself, consciousness. It's a word to tie into an experience. But there is no experience with a soul.
I mean, maybe that's the thing that I'm talking about. This viewpoint situation. I'm not saying I want to call it that. I'm just saying that we could call things whatever we want. I mean, we're just talking about words at this point. Words to describe an idea.
But consciousness isn't an idea. It is a real existing phenomenon in our universe.
Sure.
The soul is not, as far as we know.
As far as we know. I mean, there is, I don't, maybe we just fundamentally disagree on this. I think there is something to clone here, different viewpoints. that is something. Whatever that is, the fact that there's a different differentiating factor there.
Because they're separate biological beings. Because they have different bodies, because they have different brains. They're the same, quote unquote, they're the same DNA, all that, like identical twins, but they're different. They're different pieces of mass in physical space, and they both have consciousness, so they're different drivers. I get that.
Right. So the idea of that driver, right? I'm not saying it's a physical property. I'm just saying that capture that idea.
The idea of that driver is what consciousness is. You're driving your own body. You know you're in your body. You know what you see. You know your ability to, see that I'm standing here. I know I'm not a chicken. Okay. I know what I am. That's what consciousness is. That is the driver thing that that when we think thoughts, we see words, we can see images, but it doesn't actually exist. We're driving our body. We're driving our body. When there's two separate bodies, those two bodies are being driven separately. That does not mean that is still the idea of a soul.
So if
that makes
I don't believe in a soul. Let's get that out of the way. I don't. I really honestly don't know where soul. I think soul entered into the conversation because.
Well, it's because that's what I thought you were arguing consciousness from in the previous episode.
Right, but then we get to the conversation of swapping consciousness is society.
See, I don't think that means anything. I don't think that means anything. I don't think that does anything.
I think the idea being you swap where the drivers exist or where the drivers are positioned. That's where I would say. But put it in relative terms.
But the consciousness is the ability to know that you're a driver, right?
I guess.
I think yes. Our ability to know that we are human beings with eyeballs and know what that is and think about it, that is us driving. That is us driving. That is us. That is consciousness doing that. That is.
So you think just swapping that does nothing?
Yeah, because what makes us is genetics and experience. I don't think swapping the ability to know that you're driving a body when it's the exact same person that you're swapping between does anything. I don't think that means anything. I don't think that does anything. Okay.
I think this conversation has helped me understand your position better. I still can't really put a finger on where the disconnect was, but I think I understand your position better.
Because I think where the disconnect between us is you think that there's something other than genetics and experience, other than the material, and other than our consciousness, which allows us to know that we're driving. I think that you believe there is something else that makes us unique to ourselves, something immaterial. Which sounds to me like it's describing a soul, but again, who knows what that even is?
Yeah, who knows what that is? I guess that's where I'm coming from.
See, I don't think there is anything that makes me unique other than my genetics and experience. That's the only thing that I think I am unique from is genetics and experience. That is it.
I think where I'm coming from, because saying it just boils down to I'm talking about a soul, I think is disingenuous because I don't believe in a soul in the religious sense. Right. But I think that this whole, we're talking about magical, mystical bullshit stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
Was what we're doing. So like, let's just say like we're going to swap bodies. Let's just throw up a trope or like a Freaky Friday situation. Have you ever seen Freaky Friday?
Right.
They swap bodies, right? The thing that's swapping, that's where I'm coming from. And maybe it's movie bullshit. I don't know.
In the movies, the way I always interpret that and the way it's always portrayed is effectively it's a memory swap.
Right.
It's memories that get swapped and nothing else.
Well, okay. I think that's an all right way to put it, and that jives with the way I feel. Maybe, I guess, yeah. I don't know. That feels odd to me, but I mean, I guess that makes sense. But I think that's more of the position I'm coming from. It's like something is swapping there, but maybe if we were to try to replicate this in real life, which we can't, that maybe that wouldn't happen. I don't know. I really don't think either of us know.
I was gonna say, I can guarantee you, in fact, not a single person on the planet knows, because not a single person on the planet even knows why we have consciousness, let alone if there's something in addition to consciousness that is also immaterial, that is also unique to us.
Yeah, for all we know, a soul could exist.
Yeah, there might be something that makes me inherently unique that is aside from my genetics and experience.
For all we know, the Mormons were right.
Joe Smith, he knew it all. We should have listened to him.
So I think where it comes down to is there is something inescapable in me, whether it be from religious origins or from watching too much Freaky Friday, that makes me just believe that if you were to swap whatever the fuck we're talking about, swapping whatever, there would be a difference, and there would be a view to the world swap. And I don't know if that would actually happen in real life, and there is no way to know.
Right.
So where does that leave us?
All right. So us versus 5 clones. We pull the lever to kill the real us, or nothing to splat the 5 clones.
So the reason we got off on that whole entire tangent, which, if you recall, I really didn't want to, but then you said something that made me want to get into it because you pissed me off on a daily basis. But where I was getting at when I brought that up was, I am me, and me is up on the top track. Them are they, which is me.
Right.
And I am him.
I mean, exactly. I think I don't pull the lever and my 5 clones get eliminated.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I don't want 5 of me walking the earth anyway.
Well, I don't want 5 of me, and also I as me want to continue.
Right. And if what I'm killing is different versions of me, or the same version of me, but on the track beneath me instead of my track, then I know I'm not hurting anybody else.
Which is why I talked about, is it magical goop that I made in a lab, or is it coming from different dimensions?
Yeah.
Which at that point you are hurting people.
Yeah. But I think this is magical goop in a vat situation. So we do nothing, eliminate the clones. This is the most agreed upon yet. 88%.
Is it? Dang.
88% agreed.
Yeah.
All right, we're coming up, so we'll just do a couple more.
I was just gonna say, let's get to an even 20.
Yeah, we're at 17 in. We'll get to 20 because we're coming up on time here. So, Trolley, heading towards a mystery box with 50% chance of containing 2 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to a mystery box with a 10% chance of 10 people. Okay, so there's a 50-50 chance. I'm assuming the other 50% is 0 people, between 0 and 2 people. Rather than like the 10% chance of 10 people and a 90% chance of 0 people is what I'm assuming.
Yeah. So the alternate, if you don't get the people in the percentage, is no people, is how I'm understanding that.
Okay. So
in both cases.
I mean, okay, so you could take the 90% chance of killing nobody by pulling the lever.
Yeah. Essentially it's in terms of not killing people, it's 90% to not kill anybody over here, and 50% chance to not kill anybody over here. But the remainder percentage is significantly worse outcome.
So if you pulled the lever and got that 10% chance, you would That'd be devastating.
That's the worst of all scenarios.
That would be devastating. If you took the 90-10 chance. Right.
So basically, it comes down to this. A higher percent probability to kill 2 people, but it's only ever going to be 2 people. If that's what happens. Or it's really, really unlikely to kill 10 people, but if you do, it's really bad.
What do you do here?
So there's 2 ways you can look at this. I have the answers.
Okay.
I have the answers.
That's good.
There's two ways you can look at this, right? You can look at this percentage to not kill people or people going to die, right? I think taking the percentage out of the equation, you're either killing 2 people or 10 people. So you either base your decision off of that. I would rather have to, in a worst case situation, I'd rather kill 2 people than 10. You make that decision. Or you play the odds and go off of 50% chance to not kill people or 90% chance to not. It's either a percentage play or a sheer quantity play.
But that's the thing, is even if you take the percentage and go quantity play out, or the reverse of it, take the quantity play out and go percentage play, the weight of both of those, which one is a greater weight and outweighs the other?
It depends on how much of a gambler you are.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. At that point,
where's your justification? Is the justification if you go 50 is it's, hey, at the end of the day, I did the thing that would and at the worst case scenario definitely result in the least amount of death? Or do you say there was a 90% chance and I had to play the odds, even though 10 people would potentially die?
The safe play is do nothing and take the 50-50, because 50, right? Max worst case scenario, if you do nothing, 2 die. That's safe. Yeah. That's the safe play. But you could, it's like you could, pull another card out of the blackjack and you might bust, but the rewards are going to be a lot greater by killing nobody.
But there's the way to look at this, that is the percentage play, is take quantity of people out of the equation. We're trying to min-max this here, right? So min-max, what is your highest probability chance of not having any death? It's 90%.
Right. But with the 10% chance looming, is it better to take a 50-50 on 2, even though you still might get a 50 on 0? Is it so? I think. I think I go 10% people chance, or 10%. I think I get the 90%. And take and test my odds, because it's 90%, and that's 1 out of 10. But do you want 1 out of 10 or 5 out of 10? I mean, shoot. Yeah, I guess you're right. I think taking the 90% chance that nobody dies is the correct move here, I think.
Because, dude, like 50% chance odds are terrible odds.
Yeah,
it's horrible. That's awful. That's awful. So basically, I'm looking at that saying, I'm just going to write that up as 2 people are dying. I know it's a 50-50 shot, and there could very well not be, but I don't trust a coin flip enough. I'm just saying 2 people are dying in that situation. But a 90% chance.
But if you pull the lever, 10% chance strikes.
I think you're horrified and you are a burden for the rest of your life.
But you have to just accept that you probably made the right decision.
I think you accept the reality that you played the odds and you just didn't make it. You gave the most amount of people the best shot by killing the most amount of people.
Yeah, I think I agree. You got to play the odds here. 90% chance nobody dies. So we pull the lever for 10% chance of 10 people. This is an interest. Okay, yeah. 58% agreed. So we're in the slight majority.
Yeah, not by a wide margin by any means.
You know what? That 42%, I feel like that's not an unreasonable option either. All right. Trolly heading towards 5 sentient robots You can pull the lever to divert it to kill one human.
Well, we're back to the conversation of sentience.
So these are robots that have achieved AGI. Artificial general intelligence. They can think for themselves and figure things out for themselves.
Right. It comes down to how much do you value a meat bag? I think. Because I mean,
these robots aren't going to feel pain.
Right. So I mean, it comes down
to nerves into them.
In another way, if we had 5 kitty cats on a track and one guy, I think just about anybody would kill 5 kitty cats.
But here's the thing.
We value
being robots. Just because you're sentient doesn't mean you're gonna have all the same problems that humans have. We have a fear of death because that's how we've evolved. Every single thing that we have in our repertoire of human nature is there for the sake of survival. Everything. And we have a fear of death because of that. Pain is there to keep us from death. Half the reason we fear death is because the pain that's often associated with it. Robots aren't going to even they aren't going to have that evolutionary load that human beings have. They're not going to have a fear of death that we have, an irrational nonsense.
Gotcha.
So
so you're saying do nothing?
Yeah, I think do nothing. Get the 5 robots. They'll understand.
I agree.
Probably.
They'll get it.
They'll probably
they'll be
okay with it. So I think we do nothing, save the person. Sorry, robots. I know you can think and stuff, but I'm sure you do the same.
Yeah, most people agree with that. 85% of the people kill the robots.
Yeah, I think
that's the right play.
That makes sense, I think. That's a pretty conclusive one. All right, trolley heading towards 3 empty trolleys worth $900,000. You can pull the lever to hit 1 empty trolley worth $300,000. Why would you not pull the lever here?
That doesn't. Yeah, there's no way.
You can. Each trolley is worth $300,000. You can destroy 1 or destroy 3.
Yeah,
destroy 1. Pull the lever. The heck? 77% of people agreed. It's crazy that
23% of people are just mad lads that want to see.
They just want to see destruction. Yeah. All right, trolley.
Granted, it would look cool. Kill 3 trolleys.
If you're gonna do it, whip out your iPhone 16, smash that camera control. You'll be ready. All right, trolley. Releasing 100 kilo of CO2 per year, which will kill 5 people over 30 years. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, hitting a brick wall, decommissioning the trolley.
Or do nothing. Yeah.
So if you do nothing, you're allowing this trolley releasing 100 kilogram of CO2 per year. So basically, by pulling the lever, you're destroying this trolley to save 5 people over the course of 30 years.
I mean, there's so much pollution. It's not. I mean, it's.
But here's the thing: if you have a direct cause, I get that. People are going to die for all sorts of reasons over the next 30 years. But if you have a direct cause, and you can point that person just died when they otherwise wouldn't have because I didn't pull that lever. If you can sort of link it that way, I think you would pull the lever. You would destroy this trolley.
I mean, like, put this in a situation. So like you found out they were gonna go, I don't know. They were testing a new type of aircraft that dumps a bunch of smoke into the air or something, right? Are you gonna sneak onto the tarmac at night and go sabotage it or whatever? Probably not.
But that's not the scenario. You are already in control of a lever here. You don't have to sneak in and you don't have to do all this other nonsense. If okay, let's expand on that. There's a jet that's testing something, and the fuel they use is extra bad fuel. Even though a jet is, millions of dollars more than a trolley. So there's a jet, and you're sitting on the beach with a button next to you. You see this jet emitting copious amounts of nonsense into the air by just flying. Do you press the button to... It's unmanned. It's a drone. We'll say it's a drone. You press the button to blow it up? To stop doing that?
I think in a real world scenario, I probably wouldn't because I don't want to go to prison.
Right. That's property of someone.
Right. Which, I mean, I guess this is how I read this. I read this as destroy somebody else's property for my cause, which is, I'll give it to you, noble to stop pollution. But ultimately, 1.5 billion other companies are going to make something just as bad or worse than this. My actions are better spent, instead of being in prison for destruction of property, my actions are better spent protesting in some other way. But that's a real world situation, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I think any way you cut this in the real world, you probably don't pull it. You don't destroy the person's property. But in a vacuum like this scenario, this is as simple as 5 people. If it literally comes
down to thing with a lot of pollution, die or continue to go and kill people later, yeah, I guess so.
In a void, yeah. I think in a real world situation, I don't think anyone would pull that.
If property ownership is not a factor here, then yeah, I would agree.
So, given that we are interacting in this vacuum by playing this game, we will pull the lever.
We will.
62% agree, 38% disagree.
I would venture to guess that those 38% probably were thinking along the lines I was thinking.
Yeah, thinking of real world scenarios.
Yeah.
Which I think we can both agree. Some of these we don't even know if we could answer if they were real world scenarios.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know how long this game goes, but we're 20 problems deep, and we took a 20-minute diversion on consciousness for a while there. So we better wrap this up. Let us know what you think probably was the hardest trolley problem to solve. Like I said, we were 20 deep. These might go 20 longer. And we could talk on these.
Probably a lot, yeah.
As I say, we could talk on these all day. We like problems like these. So let us know what you think. Let us know what you would do. And we'll talk to you next week.
See ya.